The locking machine, now it's a vote.
68 yeas, 38 nays, Mr. Speaker.
Show the bill passes.
Opponents say the map submitted by the governor's office is an effort to disenfranchise Black voters. The House also voting in favor of two other Senate bills, one of which looks to dissolve special districts in the state, including Reedy Creek, which encompasses Walt Disney World. Will Althoff, Miami.
Governor DeSantis was in Destin today, the world's luckiest fishing village, with a major announcement. The 2022 Florida red snapper season is being expanded to 57 days to include summer and fall seasons. It's the longest season available to anglers since state management began.
We are the fishing capital of this country, really the fishing capital of the world. We have people who come from all over the country and all over the world to come and fish in Florida.
Summer season begins June 17th. The FWC says fishing is worth $13.8 billion to the state's economy and supports 120,000 jobs. Florida's unemployment claims are dropping. U.S. Labor Department says about 5,400 Floridians filed for jobless benefits last week. That's down from around 6,600 from the previous week. Suspect is accused of stabbing a young girl in the Jacksonville area. Clay County Sheriff's Office arrested the suspect for the stabbing on Wednesday at the St. John's Point apartment homes in Orange Park. The child was hospitalized in critical but stable condition. With Florida's news, I'm Reed Shepard.
While we may disagree a lot, we do agree Rural King's our favorite place for spring planting.
Yeah, but we've got to focus. Roses, a couple flats of impatiens, and a spade.
A shovel? I'm thinking tiller.
We do not need a tiller.
Wait, a mower. Those new zero turns are sweet.
Focus. Roses, mulch, shovel, impatiens.
Jeez.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Test, test, test. Okay.
Hey, welcome to another segment of Small Biz Florida. Go ahead, talk into it.
Test 1, 2, 3, 4. Can you hear me now?
Gotcha.
Is there any way to
Get a little closer.
get a higher volume on this?
You don't actually need those on.
Oh, okay.
No, yeah.
All right, good.
Yep, yep. Yeah.
Okay.
We'll take a break and then pick up with Calvin.
Yeah. These together.
That's fine.
Very pleasant good evening. Time for Small Biz Florida here on WPSL and WSTU with Mr. Tom Kindred.
Thank you, sir, and welcome to another segment and installment of Small Biz Florida, the podcast and broadcast that's all things business across the state of Florida and the Treasure Coast. Small Biz Florida is brought to you by the Florida Small Business Development Center Network and is produced by the Florida SBDC right here at Indian River State College. Small Biz Florida is designed and produced to highlight and promote business census resources, celebrate entrepreneurial success, present best practices, but most importantly, provide timely business information for Florida's small business community. I am Tom Kindred, and I serve as your host of Small Biz Florida. How are you, Greg? Everything good in the radio world?
Doing well. Yeah.
All right. Where are we with sports at Indian River State College? Are we still playing sports, or our seasons are over?
Baseball and
just
softball are going
Yeah.
crazy.
yeah.
Have you been to the main campus recently?
I have. I've been there. I have not. I've seen some.
You've seen
some
something
piles
coming out of
dirt,
the
and
ground?
Yes, I've seen some things happening over at the baseball stadium.
Baseball and softball stadiums.
I'll tell you what
are
I
coming out of the
enjoyed
ground.
was the baseball game down at the Met Stadium. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was. It was a great day and
Yeah,
great coach.
yeah.
And they honored the softball coach.
Yeah, they did. I saw that
That's right.
just in the email the other day. So yeah, I really did not understand and did not know Dale had been here that long. I thought Dale was relatively new to Indian River State College.
Oh,
You know,
no.
last 5-10 years, but
Oh no.
no, he's been here. Was it 26 years?
Yeah.
I think-
Well, he'd been here well over a decade when we started doing the basketball, which is
Wow.
what, 15 seasons ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was impressed with the record too. I didn't really understand he had been there that long and had that kind of record with the women's softball team.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, they both are doing fabulous
Yeah.
this year. It's yeah. And I think the number one prospect in the country is coming to IRSC for baseball next year.
Wow.
So it's like, I think the Tory name is sort
Yeah,
of
that's-
starting to work magic
Right.
here, you know?
But I did. I really
Yeah.
enjoyed going down to the Met Stadium and watching the Pioneers play down there. It was a lot of fun.
Yep.
It's a great night, a lot of fun. Good, like you say, Mike Easom to name the stadium after Mike makes perfectly good sense. Long time. I mean, gosh, I remember him as a kid growing up in Fort Pierce as the coach of IRSC. So yeah. So anyway, good day and basketball's ended. They I guess that's all finished, and they did very well in their tournament. And
Not finished.
not finished.
Oh, now they're just starting. it's recruiting time.
Oh, it's right. Yeah. So
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Real quickly before we get started, I want to make note. The latest issue of Treasure Coast Business is out.
Ooh, look
It is
at
out.
that.
Look at that.
Impressive.
Yes, we dedicated this issue to business leadership. So on the cover of this issue, we've got 16 business leaders to watch, doing some innovative things out there across the Treasure Coast. And
Did I make that list again?
I think you may have been an alternate, Greg. I can't really remember where you were on the list, but as
I missed the photo shoot.
that's right. And so as I wrote in my editor's letter, I said, please note the magazine recognizes there are hundreds of others worthy of being recognized for their leadership roles and contributions. This leadership profile story is designed to highlight and provide an example of dedicated individuals who are leading out front and behind the scenes, and to initiate and facilitate positive growth for the region, the business community, and its residents. So again, we know there's lots of others that certainly deserve recognition, but I wrote someplace in this magazine that if we highlighted every business leader that deserved recognition, it would look more like a dictionary than a magazine. So anyway, we just to understand, it was just a nice issue dedicated to leadership. So we appreciate all those that allowed us to highlight them in the magazine and provided their backgrounds and bios and answered our questions. So again, great issue. If you can't find it someplace, call me, and I will, as always, I will commit to bringing you a copy. In this issue is the Treasure Coast Manufacturers Association biannual newsletter. So some good information about the manufacturing community also in this issue. So be sure and pick that up. Next week is the final digital marketing boot camp session for the April cohort. Linda reminded me to remind all of you to join them on Facebook at FSBDC at IRSC for the live feed of students practicing how to implement their digital strategies. The wait list is now open for the June digital marketing boot camp. Remember, limited seats in this program. We want to make sure that people get some real good hands-on attention in our digital media boot camp. So seats are limited. The class is $199. Anyway, make sure you, if you're interested, you may want to follow up with us for the next round of digital media boot camp. Also got a profit mastery program starting soon on the Pruitt campus down in St. Lucie West. So that's what we got going on. So is that it for updates, Greg, from you?
Oh,
the
yeah.
Pioneers?
Yeah,
All right, so we're all good.
You bet.
Listen, we've got one of our favorite technology folks with us tonight. He has appeared before on Small Biz Florida, and we enjoyed the conversation so much. He's back. It is our favorite geek, Miles West. Miles, welcome to Small Biz Florida.
Thanks for having me back, Tom.
Absolutely. And Miles, you founded, own, and operate a company called A Geek to Go, not to be confused with, I don't know, some other squad of people.
Right.
But you are a geek to go. So Miles, kind of just, start us off as we always do, just a little bit of background on yourself and kind of your pathway to creating a geek to go.
Okay. Well, I have always been a techie. I've always, since I was a kid, took electronics apart to see if I could figure out how they worked. And at the young age of 12, I sold boiled peanuts on the side of the road to make enough money to buy my first computer, a TRS-80 from Radio Shack. And that started me on my path. And eventually I wound up working at CNN after college. And every time I sat in a seat at CNN, I was in front of a computer and I was always asking questions. And so I just became very familiar with computers, and I started my own company in 2006 at that time in Charleston, South Carolina, because the only place in town that would come out to you to see about your tech was Best Buy's Geek Squad. And so a friend said, you know, you ought to open up something like Geek Squad, and came up with a clever, catchy name, threw in the word geek, and off we went like a runaway freight train.
Nice. So talk to us a little bit about what are issues that, that folks face on a daily basis. Obviously our space is small business owners. And I was one of those small business owners. We had multiple offices, but we had networking issues. We had connectivity issues. Of course, the internet was sort of kind of new back then. Obviously, those issues have gotten a little more complex, but what are kind of the top 5 issues that small business owners face in putting together their network and building out a network for their office?
Well, I'll tell you, Tom, one of the main issues that small businesses face is trying to manage everything themselves, from the Wi-Fi to the to the devices, computers, tablets, phones, and synchronicity, tying everything all in together, under one cloud, as you will. And speaking of clouds, people must understand that the cloud is not the end all to beat all. They are not completely infallible. So it's always important for small businesses, or anyone for that matter, to use triplicate backups, which means backing up to a cloud, whether it's Apple's iCloud or Carbonite or Backblaze, using 1 or 2 external drives, and especially use a flash drive, because things can and will fail. And with a triplicate system like that, you're pretty much covering all your bases.
And again, a company like yours, you have the ability to go out, actually make service calls to the office. I mean, that's not really too common today to get that kind of support and help, especially in a small business operation.
Yeah, that's true. Here along the Treasure Coast, we have a radius that we cover of about 30 miles. And we also offer remote support, which is pretty much instantaneous or done within 2 hours notice. And it's available for users of Mac and PC. All anyone needs to do is give us a call, log into our website, click on a link, and within 5 minutes or less, we're connected and we're getting you squared away.
I guess, and you really can't have a conversation about small business technology without really discussing cybersecurity, which I know is, an important topic for you. But lots of small business owners they never really think of themselves as targets. All we hear about on the news are the big attacks and the big companies and the loss of data. But the more I read, about cybersecurity, and the more we get engaged in it through the small business space that we operate in, small businesses really are they're obviously a niche target for cybersecurity. Maybe easy to get to, not as difficult to hack into a small business. And if you're doing business with your bank, or transferring funds, or working with customers and transferring funds, all those things are at risk, are they not, even for a small business?
Yeah, that's true, Tom. Common pitfalls that a lot of people fall into when they're browsing online, or actively searching up a topic, is when you're searching for anything online, you basically want to skip the first page of results, because 9 times out of 10, whether it's Google, DuckDuckGo, or Bing, whatever search engine you're using, the first 5 or 6 returns are usually traps laid by third-party tech support companies that will lead you down a path to try to help you resolve your problem, but ultimately you get tired of all the, all the tech talk, and you just click on the link that you think will solve your problem, and then you've downloaded an infection.
All right. Talk about the password issue, where everything now is just so many passwords. I mean, it is amazing. We have we have some tools and resources, through the college and through SBDC to kind of manage some of that. But I can't imagine what it must be like for a small business owner, all the websites they've got to go to in dealing with business and suppliers with the passwords. Are there any tricks to passwords now for small business owners?
Well, aside from writing everything down and sticking that piece of paper underneath your keyboard, there are a variety of password databases. There are definitely some to shy away from. Initially, there was a company that started out that, I'll just say this, was acquired by Norton. And the guy that started the company posted his social security number on the side of a box truck and drove it around Dallas for 2 weeks, daring anyone to, grab his information. And needless to say, he got hacked repeatedly over a couple of years. It's always important to have a password database where you have one master password that you can access all your individual passwords, and then you just drag and drop or copy and paste into places that you need to enter your credentials. And what so many of us fall victim to or accustomed to is the browser offering to store your password for you. And it's so much easier to just accept the condition of that. But the drawback to that is anytime an infection enters your computer, or if it's a direct hack by a person or persons, all they have to do is go to your browser and they can haul all those passwords out, the usernames, the passwords, the credit card information. And if they don't use it readily themselves, they sell them on lists on the black market or the dark web.
So should I change my password from password?
Yeah, it's always, it's always a common practice for, people to use, password or 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a really good idea to use a mixture of numbers, letters, and unusual characters if the site will allow it.
Yeah, well, most actually require it now.
All the network, I believe me, all the network sites are.
I
yeah.
love the every time I now go to enter a password, so often now I get rejected because it says it's too close to the last password. So getting a little more difficult to come up with the passwords.
Well, and we got a notification from Westwood One Sports that they had been hacked, and that all the radio stations carrying NFL football needed to change the password for their system.
Right.
So it was like, oh my goodness.
Talk about backup. I think you mentioned that, a little earlier in the conversation, but talk about backing up. And again, so important because it's all tied to the cybersecurity. If you do get hacked in some way, you need to have the backup to kind of restore the data. Kind of explain how all that works.
Right. So it doesn't matter if you're using Linux, Windows, or Apple. It's important not to rely solely on the cloud unless you're using a third-party cloud such as Carbonite or Backblaze, because they can do full backups of all your data, and also what's called imaging, where it copies the computer at that point in time and can restore the computer back to the way it needs to be if your computer tanks or if you get hacked.
All right. And talk about this zero trust architecture. Is that a new phrase to me, but I'm yeah.
What?
Well, we're going to no. Okay.
It's
I-
zero. Oh,
It's zero. Again,
I mean, if you're referring to, trust no one, that's been a
Right.
common denominator of social media and social networking for, about 10 years. And really, I mean, you can't trust anyone, whether
Right.
someone hands you a flash drive to put in your computer or someone tells you to go to a site to pick up information. You really have to do the due diligence for yourself or hire someone to manage that for you.
Well, and I guess the zero trust architecture or thought process really has to do with it kind of ties into the phishing emails where
Right.
explain kind of the concept of phishing emails. This is a very big issue for us. At the college, we're constantly getting notifications and emails, examples of phishing emails, where someone will try to send an email and say your email is going to terminate, if you don't sign in here, and they're easy to fall for. I really do understand how folks can fall for these things. Talk a little bit about the whole phishing email issue.
Yeah, that's a good point. With phishing, it's basically designed to trick you into capturing your data and financial information or a combination of both. And so when you get these emails and they are purportedly from Norton or the IRS or, any aspect of the government, anything really, there's always a link, for you to click on. And the first thing you want to do, don't click on it, because if you click on it, that activates the link and that can, bring an infection onto your computer. You want to copy the link and then paste it into a browser window and hit enter on the keyboard. So then it goes to that address. Now that's not completely safe, but a second step and a really important step is to copy and paste that link into a website called virustotal.com. And it's a compendium of about 50 different internet security providers. It's a consortium, and you paste that link in and they all scan the link and tell you if it's a valid link, if it's safe, the reputation score. I know it sounds lengthy for one link that you see in an email or online, but it's worth it in the long run.
All right. And talk about updates. So often my phone notifies me with updates, and there's updates for all the software on your computer. Is there any are there any threats involved in those updates? Do you just automatically click on those? Are they, how do you know if you're dealing with a trusted update?
Well, a lot like phishing, you'll see, an update is available for this program or this service that basically is blanketed across all the operating systems. And you really, again, want to copy the link and paste it into VirusTotal, see if it's safe. And you don't necessarily want to go looking for updates. If your operating system, say Apple or Windows, tells you an update is ready, then it's pretty much safe to install it. But if you go looking for it, your computer with its hardware and based on its brand may not be ready for that update. So if you install the update, you wind up screwing your own computer up yourself.
Well, and I certainly could do that easily. So talk to us a little bit about a Geek to Go. Tell us about your services. What do you provide, and how does someone get engaged with you?
Well, a Geek to Go specializes in internet security and data recovery. We do some computer repair, we do some tech support, but primarily the focus is internet security and data recovery. And what I mean by internet security is we have a subscription service, which is called PASS, Performance and Security Software. And we remotely manage the security and performance on your computer up to twice a week. And we install our own antivirus, anti-malware programs. We actively go in with your permission, or if the computer is idle, and check for updates, run scans from different sources, check to make sure that the programs that we've installed are acting as they should autonomously. And we also run a performance utility to clean out and speed up the computer for the maximum efficiency. And it's for residential and commercial subscribers. And of course, there's 2 tiers for that. But for more information, you can go to our website, ageektogo.com, and that's ageektogo.com, or call us at 190-GEEK-TO-GO. And for you younger listeners out there that don't know how to put letters and numbers together on a phone, that's 1-904-335-8646. And just because it's a Jacksonville area code, it can still be trusted along the Treasure Coast.
All right, nice. And then, and again, most of what you do is really remote. That's not something you have to go to the office to manage or to monitor.
Right. But, we always prefer a hands-on approach, but when we can't get there hands-on, we can handle just about everything remotely, unless you can't get connected to the internet. And then, of course, we can't handle that.
Okay. And, you are a small business owner. You are an entrepreneur, just like all the other folks that get involved in their own business. Kind of as we kind of bring to close, this segment of tonight's show, just kind of give us your insight into what were some of the greatest challenges in starting your own business. What did you, and what were the biggest surprises for you?
Boy, I'll tell you, it really was interesting because when I put this thing together, I had no idea what to expect. And as I said before, it took off like a runaway freight train, and it's just a lot of time management, excuse me, time management, coordinating. At one point we got so big that we had an answering service, an appointment setting service. We had 6 techs, and it was just flowing up until the recession of 2008, and then it slowed down a bit. But 17 years later, we're still running and gunning. Started out in Charleston, and we've also got a location in Jacksonville, Port St. Lucie, and Stewart now.
All right, nice. All right, one more time. How does one get in touch with you? Phone and website?
That phone number again is 190-GEEK-TO-GO, GEEKTOGO, and that's 904-335-8646. And our website, www.ageektogo.com.
All right. It's our favorite geek, Miles West. Thanks again, Miles, for
Thanks,
talking
Tom.
to us about technology, which is a very important issue in cybersecurity for small businesses. We appreciate your time.
Thanks a lot for having me.
Absolutely. And with that, we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to be back with our with one of our favorite instructors, professors, administrators at Indian River State College, Dr. Calvin Williams. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Hey, Dr. Williams, how are you?
I am fantastic. How you doing?
We're doing good. How are you?
Well, I like being in the studio with y'all, but they got me booked back to back to back. So I couldn't make it down there in time.
Oh, that's okay.
You're good.
You're good. You're good to go. So the information side of this.
Hey, Dr. Williams, tell me again, what is your title?
It's changed since the last time you saw me. So I'm the Administrative Director of Advising and Career Services.
All right, Administrative Director of Advising and
Career Services.
And then let me just make sure that I don't ask you something that's too crazy, but you're still, you're still responsible for connecting students to jobs, connecting employers to students. You still do all the job fairs.
Yes, that still falls under me. The combination of this new role is where we need to make sure students are taken care of while they're here. So, going to school and not having a job, there's really no reason to be here. So the advisors work with career services a lot more than the last time I came down there with you. So we still do the expos, we still do the outreach to employers. If you saw my last email, we've created liaison areas for career services. That's to make sure they work directly with the advisors, success coaches, and the departments to help students graduate on time with jobs.
Okay. All right. Let me hold on. Let's see, Charlotte. Okay. All right. All right, cool. I think we're ready.
Let's see. So that first segment was 34 minutes. Counting the news break.
Okay, I've got your questions, so we'll just go right down the list, and
Okay.
that way you can talk about what you want to make sure we talk about.
This will run 2050.
Okay, got it.
20 minutes, 50 seconds.
All right, here we go.
Okay, that's
And we are back. This is Small Biz Florida from the Florida Small Business Development Center right here at Indian River State College. And we've got with us our favorite administrator, Dr. Calvin Williams, here at Indian River State College. Dr. Williams serves as the Administrative Director of Advising and Career Services, and we got a lot to talk about, a lot going on, important division. Dr. Williams, thank you for taking time out this evening to talk to us.
No, thank you for the invite. Always happy to be on the show.
So start us off quickly with a little bit of your background and pathway to Indian River State College.
The quickest version, I am retired Air Force, data analyst by trade, but my background is in organizational psychology. I've worked career services and small schools in Georgia. I've worked at UCF. I've worked at Florida State University, employee relations. I came directly from Florida State University to IRSC, originally for career and transfer services, but last July, we expanded my role to the advising and career services department, division, if you will. And 3 weeks ago, we added military and veteran services. So my kingdom keeps growing, if you will.
Yeah, we don't have enough time, Dr. Williams. We're going to run out of time.
Well, I'm glad I didn't run into him when I was in Air Force ROTC.
That's
A
right.
psychologist would have kicked me out right away.
So again, with all that's going on,
Mhm.
I'm going to let you speak to it. Because this really is an important division. This is where students get connected to careers, employers can get connected to students. So you give us the high level, overview of exactly what your department does and how you serve students, and most importantly, how you can help our
Right.
community connect to students.
And what I'll do is I'll stay on the career services side. What we do from a IRSC standpoint, we have actual staff members who specialize in each school. So we have a liaison for the School of Business. We have a liaison for health sciences. And what that does for our students is we have people that can specialize in language or even careers that they're interested in. We also work with the schools on employer development. So if the dean of business has some employer development he wants done, we would work with him instead of him having to go out and chase the employers themselves. With that, we have a jobs database, which is free for employers to post their opportunities with us. All students that are enrolled have a free account with that. So employers post jobs with us. We advertise those jobs to our students. We work with students on resumes, interview skills, how to network with employers, how to dress for interviews. So we're the conduit between employers and students. So I always like to say in class, they get theory. We show them the application of putting that theory into going to work. So one-stop shop, everything is free to the employers to a point, and then students, their tuition is paying for our services. So we connect them to employers they want to talk to.
And I noticed the other day, I think there was an email sent out amongst the IRSC team that talked about these new, specialists and liaisons, as you call them, with each school. I mean, that's really pretty innovative. Plus, I think extremely helpful, because now a School of Business student is going to be talking to an advisor that really understands the curriculum, the opportunities. Is that kind of a fair assessment of how that works?
Yeah, that is really a fair assessment. And I'll tell on ourselves just a little bit, Tom. When I got here, our model was kind of haphazard. What we have done is kind of gone to industry standard advising, industry standard career services. So this is to help students. You'll have a specialized career services person, you have a specialized advisor, you have a specialized success coach working with that school. So it should benefit the students' retention, going to work, and making sure they're in the correct program so we can get them in a job in and out of school as quick as possible. So yes, this is an industry standard that we have just adopted.
And talk to us about what are very popular events, your job fair events. Is that what you call them, where you bring the employers actually onto campus? I mean, these are great opportunities for the employer to connect to students, and really very nice events and big events for us.
They are, and I will tell you what, again, we come at the industry standard, so I'm not using the term job fair anymore.
Okay.
We're calling them career expos, because the exposition, so we want students to understand the importance. We had our first one, the expo name, this past February. I'll go ahead and give you an early date, October 12th. We're going to do our fall career expo in the Kite Emerging Center of Technology, and we'll get the registration out. But that is a way for employers to actually get in front of our students. So instead of students having to go find that employer, we're bringing the employers on campus. They can network. Everyone's hiring right now, part-time, full-time internship opportunities. We want our students to dress professional, so we work on how to talk to employers at expos, how to meet employers at expos. So that is a very big thing. And that's not the only way employers can get to our students. You and I have talked about the employer residency program. And then that is now we can actually bring into play, because we're back face to face, where an employer could say, hey, Calvin, I want to come on campus on a Wednesday. We would give them space either in our office or at the KSU. So if you think of it, it's a mini expo for that employer. And we would do that one employer on that day. So if an employer can't make the big expo, we can offer them the employer residency program a couple times out of the semester. They can do that at the Massey campus. We're also going to roll that out now, Tom, to the branch campuses, because the campus presidents want to bring employers in to talk with their students as well. So career expos are great. The employer residency program is an opportunity. And you know me, I'm always looking for new things. So I may have something else ready to go by the fall.
Yeah, no, that I really always have been impressed with that employer residency program. When I was owned and operated a small business, I never really did realize, the assets and the resources available right here along the Treasure Coast with Indian River State College. I remember going up to University of Florida one time to do some recruiting when could have easily been done right here.
Right.
So again, so you've got your career expos that take place you do multiple career expos, I think, during the year. So that's a great opportunity for employers. You've got the employer residency program, and then, but on any day, an employer can also connect, right? You've got a pretty robust technology that allows an employer to post
Right.
jobs. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, and yeah, those are just, once a semester type of things or once a week, but you are correct. When my liaisons are reaching out to employers, so we actually talk to them about their needs. What do they need to do at IRSC? And we have a jobs database. It's powered by College Central Network. What the employers can do if they have jobs descriptions, they just register with us, free account. Once they get approval, they can post their jobs. And because you're at IRSC, I do a monthly active jobs listing, and we have about 400, 500 active jobs pretty much every month. The trend has been we've gotten 250 new jobs every month over the last 8 months. So employers can just reach out, say, I got an opening. We'll help them write the job description if they don't have one. If they have internships, we'll show them how to stay within federal regulations. We connect them with faculty and staff, because a lot of employers want to get into the classroom. And that's where we came up with the employer residency program, because I don't have a classroom to put them in, but I can get them exposure. But any of those things we do on a daily basis. They can just call us, they can email us, and we would work with them. And we don't do the cookie cutter approach. We sit down with each employer to identify what they would like to do at IRSC, what programs they would like to get connected with, and then we help them stay connected at IRSC.
Okay. And I know that, Dr. Moore, very focused on servicing veterans and making sure that veterans, have access to resources and assistance to understand the pathways to get degrees, certifications. Talk a little bit about the veterans services and areas you've got there.
Yeah, in the military veteran services, we have a full stop shop. And we got 2 locations. We have the Veteran Center of Excellence, which is one of only 16 around the country, and that just opened up in January. And we also have military and veteran services on the Massey campus. We have advisors. So when we look at caseloads, we actually have veteran students with advisors that are veteran specific. So they actually do the same course scheduling with those as normal advisors. We have a VA financial certifying official that worked with veteran students. And the big push, just like with Dr. Moore, everything that he wants me to do is find jobs for IRSC students. So we use the Veteran Center of Excellence as a space to promote veterans. We're bringing in some outside organizations to help us with veteran resumes, veteran-friendly employers. So we've got 2 locations, and we're pushing the envelope, if you will, to make sure veterans leave here with a great education, and they also have employment before they walk out the door.
And so from that viewpoint too, what I've always really been impressed with is the support for the students, and it runs pretty deep with the students. It's not just, kind of at the end of the process. I mean, your division and your department has a wide range of support, like you're talking about, dress for success and resume writing. Talk about some of those real hands-on value-added services that you provide to students.
Yeah, and I would say, I tell all my students, I tell my staff, the resume is that initial gateway to finding employment. So it's a student's marketing tool. So we work with students from the very beginning. They come in with a blank piece of paper, and we'll help them develop a resume. Or if they have something, we actually take that and help them tailor it towards a specific job. I've got myself as a veteran, and we've got some veteran folks in the office where we can take military speak and put it on a resume. So I've been able to convert my Air Force specialty into the civilian world. So we can do that as well. One of the things I'm super proud of, Tom, is I talked to you about the mock interview program. And what I've been able to do is convince some faculty and staff to put it into their curriculum. So the nursing department, their students have to have an approved resume as part of their course. And they also have to do a face-to-face mock interview as part of their course. So they can't get a grade in their course without doing the resume and the mock interview. We're also trying to get that added into biology. And another feature that we've added probably since the last time I saw you heard me talk about it, but the Career Ready program, it's something that I work with Dr. Moore on so we can certify IRSC students. What that looks like is I package 6 things that we currently have within career services, get a resume approved, do a mock interview, attend workshops, attend a career event like an expo, review the NACE competencies, National Association of College Employer Career Competencies, and complete a survey. So I package 6 things that we already have into the Career Ready program, and the students actually get a IRSC Career Ready certificate signed by me. We do a lot of stuff on social media, and they can then put that on their resume that says IRSC Career Ready. And that's another hook for employers to understand those students have done more with us than a typical student.
Wow.
So we're going to brand them with IRSC Career Ready on their resume.
Wow.
So how would you rate me if I gave you my resume?
I
No,
don't
no,
know. I would have to see it first, but with that question, I'm probably gonna have to take out my red pen the way it sounds.
Yeah. I'm not going to send you my resume. No, I'm not gonna do it. You may make me go back to, I may be back in business 101. I don't know. So again, I really do. I like the fact that you do have so many tools now for students. They're just, and this help is really being provided through the whole 2 or 4 year program that the students are involved in. They can constantly be taking advantage of those resources, can they not?
They can, and my challenge to students, Tom, is wear us out. They can come to get these services every day. Once we get that resume done, the next thing is work on your interview skills and your networking skills. But this should not be a end of your academic time frame. Come to career services the day before you graduate.
Right.
But, we see that. We'll take them at that point. And one of the things, Dr. Moore has a lot of good things. He always calls it wraparound services.
Right.
We always call it just normal business. And what that means is if you ever come to IRSC, you can use our services. Even if you hadn't been here for 3-4 years, you can come back and get us to look at your resume. We'll do the mock interviews. You can attend our events. And so you never lose the capability to work with us. And even if an alum wants to come back and get IRSC Career Ready, we'll let them get into the program. So yes, I would say they should come as often, but I really, if students are listening, don't wait till the week before graduation to say, hey, I need a resume. I see that too much.
Yeah, no, and that's exactly why I asked the question, because I think you're so right. You don't want to wait till it's, graduation day. This is something they really should be dealing with, a year before, getting ready. And again, your advisors can take a look at the classes they've taken, the path they've been on, and then have even those kind of conversations. Where are you headed with this degree? What jobs are out there? What trends do we see coming along the Treasure Coast? I mean, you really got, based upon what you just said with the available jobs, your office really has a pretty good, handle on the trends that are going on in our marketplace. Do you not?
No, we do. And that's, I get a lot of challenges from Dr. Moore and from my VP, Beth Gaskins. But yeah, I have some tools that show me economic trends for the 4 counties. Here, I can do it by zip code. So I can tell you the amount of folks that we would have in the next 5 years that could potentially come to IRSC, who's hiring, what the job trends are across the board. And these things those tools are available to our students free of charge as well. So when we sit down with them talking about careers, one of the conversations advisors have with them is like, let's look at the projections in this area. Because if you're going into a job that only has one projected opening over the next 10 years, we probably need to have a conversation or look at another county or another area. So we have that much data to show them.
And again, I know you're kind of on the side where you're helping students connect to employers and employers connect to students, but just talk too a little bit about IRSC isn't just about degrees either. There are all kinds of certification programs, are there not, and certificates that are available. There's just other opportunities other than just that traditional pathway. I'm going to come 2 years. I'm going to get my 2-year degree. There's all kinds of opportunities to use just 1 year of work at IRSC can get you a career, correct?
I agree with you. Yes, and you are correct. So we have certificates, we have associate 2-year degrees, and we have 4-year degrees. But to your point, I talk to some students and they may say, Dr. Williams, I don't know what I want to do when I'm here. So we actually start showing them certificate programs. Right. And those could be 4 courses and you get a certificate. And then what we start working with students is if you do multiple certificates, start stacking those things up. At some point, a year and a half from now, you just need 1 more, 2 more courses and you have an associate's degree.
Nice.
So sometimes I have to convince students like, hey, I don't want it that traditional. Let's do some certificates. And you can stack those things up where you get something maybe in digital media where you don't necessarily have to have a 4-year degree. You can get 4 or 5 courses, 6 courses, get the certificate and go to work. We have some apprenticeship programs where you're working while you're in school and you're making money. So we run the gamut of certificates, apprenticeships, internships, associate degrees, 4-year degrees, AS, associate in science degrees, and everything in between. So there's tons of opportunity at IRSC. You can be here as quick as you want to be, or you can be as long as you want to be.
Right.
But there's a ton of opportunity.
And let's talk real quickly about a subject that I'm always intrigued by this. But let's say you've got a student that went off to the big 4-year university, and ran into some issues. And the problem with these 4-year universities is if you don't finish 4 years, you kind of leave without anything.
Right.
So talk to us about that pathway. If the student has got some credits, they've got 20, 30 credits, they've taken some classes, they come into your program, can you help them kind of match up and say, okay, what you've taken here is going to count here, and you can kind of show them how they can finish up at IRSC?
We have that capability, and we are also enhancing that capability, because a lot of things right now we're doing with that particular set of people is we'll get their transcript in and we have to have an evaluator actually go through that. So there's no systematic, hey, you're going to get this. So we actually go line by line. We're actually in the process of improving that, where we can have a system that will say, okay, boom, when you got these courses at Florida, you're coming back here, we can give you these 5 courses. You would only need these 3 to finish up. Okay. That happens now, but right now it's manual. By the time we get to the fall, we're going to have a system in place that will do that.
Nice.
By the way, you didn't ask me this, but we also have the capability to look at military service and identify courses that will be equivalent here across the board. So I just saw the other day, we've got a couple of those working through the provost. So we can do what you asked. That does happen. And we're also going to be able to do it for military equivalency very soon.
Okay.
I got a question as far as if you're coming back from, say, a 4-year school, how many of those credits are actually transferable to IRSC?
Yeah.
And there is no real answer to that. There is going to be case by case. It would also be the grade, because just because they got a grade, if it's D or an F, that's not coming back.
Right.
If they're coming to a program from that UF that we don't have exactly, we wouldn't be able to take everything. So there's no definite answer. We would try to max them out as much as possible. We'd have to look at the transcript to identify what we can bring in.
Right. And I guess there's no way to have a conversation now about Indian River State College in any way on any issue without talking about free tuition.
You got to.
Yeah, we got to talk about the Pioneer Promise program. Tell us a little bit about the program. Just absolutely incredible opportunity for Treasure Coast students.
Yeah, and that's on the front end of it, but we've instituted the IRSC Promise. Students that graduate from public high schools, charter high school in the 4-county service district, maintain a GPA 3.0, and they come in, they're going to come to IRSC. We call it tuition free. because they still would have potential fees or books that they
Right.
would pay for. They can get scholarships for that. That is going to be a game changer for us, because students who didn't have a financial way to come to school or even think they could come to school, we're giving them that opportunity. And then what we're going to do is bring them in, and we're going to track them as cohorts. So they'll start in the fall. The promised date, they're signing letters that they promised to come in and maintain. They're going to have to stay consecutive with us for 2 years. So fall semester, spring semester, summer, fall, spring, summer. Advisors are going to have to work with them on retention to stay here. But if they maintain their GPA, they stay continuously through school, they're going to be able to graduate tuition free. And then they'll be able to transfer or stay with us for a bachelor's degree program.
Wow.
My new hook with advisors, Tom, you hadn't seen this yet, is you picture the theme. They're coming, are we ready? Because once the students come in the front door with the Promise program, the advisors we're responsible for retaining them. So we're going to put some of those things in place where we are doing reach outs, we're doing meetups with students to keep them engaged and in school.
Dr. Williams, listen, I cannot thank you enough for the partnership and the collaboration with us, because as you know, we work with literally hundreds of small businesses across the Treasure Coast, and all of those small businesses employ folks, and they are constantly looking to leverage the talent of our Indian River State College students. So we appreciate our collaboration. You have been a big help to us and our clients. We appreciate all you're doing in terms of the innovative work, in terms of career and transfer and helping employers and students connect out there along the Treasure Coast. Thank you.
No, thank you. You're always welcome. Thanks for bringing me in, and happy to spread the word. We're adding new features to what we're doing, and always happy to share.
All right. And just final, how does one just start the whole process real quick? Is there a website? Give us the website if you want to come to school.
Easiest way, if you got on IRSC's website, you can go to Career and Transfer Services.
Okay.
But if I can give you an email address, it's career services altogether at irsc.edu.
Okay.
Or if they want to call 772-462-7470.
Okay. And that'll do it for this segment of Small Biz Florida. We will talk to you as we do every Thursday, next Thursday.
Thank you.
Nope.
Good.
Hey.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you. Have
All
a good
good.
day. Yep.
See ya. Okay. All right.